listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast, where we uncover inspiring things about our community through the stories of inspiring people who call it home. I am Dee Harrell, and this is the creator of Oh My Omaha, the blog, and the blogosphere's friendliest face herself, Kim Reiner.
Hi there.
What up, Kim?
Hey.
I've just been thinking about a lot of our guests at this point, because we're at like episode 9. Is that correct? I think?
Maybe
something around that. But everybody's been very Renaissance-y. Right? Like they wear a lot of hats. The stories that we've been getting have been like, we come to the table kind of already knowing, but then I'm finding that with our discussions, we're just learning so much more of the things of the journey.
Yeah.
Right? And well, you and I wear a lot of hats. You wear lots of hats.
Yes.
What are the hats that you would identify with right now?
So the obvious podcaster now. That's a new hat.
Obvious.
So and I've been a blogger for 11 years now, and that's kind of morphed into I guess like the term people are using are content creators, because it's not just writing on a blog, it's the social media, the newsletters, just all sorts of, and then video and photos and doing all that. I've published one book. I speak at conferences, even though I'm a horrible introvert. I still force myself to do it. And then I'm a mother and wife and all sorts of things. And you,
it's a lot of hats.
Right, a lot of hats. And then get to this point, I did like public relations and marketing and social media.
Right? It's just, it is nuts. It's funny because it's like if somebody asks you, how'd you get into podcasting? Right. You're like, well, hold on. How much time do you have?
Right.
Like, from here to here, right? Yeah.
And you have several degrees.
Yeah. I told you, I think when we were talking about it, I told you I feel like that Shel Silverstein poem of the guy that has like all the hats and it's like kind of tipping over and it just keeps like popping other hats on top of the other, kind of just without taking them off. I think that's my problem. I have multiple hats, but I don't put one on and then like to take one off and put it on. I'll just keep piling them on. Yeah. But book. Yes.
You're working on a book?
I'm still working on my book. It will be done. It has to be done by the end of this year. So let's we'll just keep on keeping on. Yeah. I don't think I could. Well, I don't, not that I couldn't, but it's funny to think about any choices. I don't regret any choices. I don't think I operate very well just on a linear deal.
And I think I was thinking about it, and it's beneficial actually to have like ADHD, where if you get bored or tired of doing something, you could shift gears and focus on something else. And it's worked out well for me. Like when I was doing like a full-time job and blogging, when I would need a break from writing a press release, my creative break would be to write creatively for the blog, and just like I could, or just totally shift gears. And now I do that too still, but on my own. So it almost helps.
Yeah.
Get hyper focus on something.
Would love that help. I am a poster child of ADHD my entire life. And I just pack more and more things to hyper focus on. But so I don't, I think that as we move forward into the podcast and meeting all the interesting people that we have and talking to all of the people in the community, I really do dig the dive into people's Renaissance-ness.
Right. I think it's coming up with I think so.
It is a word. We're stating it as a word.
Which fits into our guest
100%. So why don't you introduce our guest?
I met our guest, Danielle Herzog, long ago when I first started out writing. And I just remember her standing out for having like an incredible sense of humor and like an ease with words. Like she just had a great way of phrasing things. And now it's amazing. She is a published children's book author. And actually today is like the day that it's on, right? It's published.
Amazing.
It's out there. We'll talk about that for sure today. But Danielle's also, she's an elementary school assistant principal. She's a mom. She's a speaker. She's a writer. And I looked up your bio, and you're a member of a huge Italian family. talk about that. Her work has been seen in the Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, Parenting, and so many others. So let's welcome Danielle Herzog.
Thanks for having me.
Hi.
It's great to be here.
I can't believe you and I haven't met before.
I know. This is fun.
It is fun. Which elementary school?
Am I assistant principal at Hurrdat Road Elementary School with Westside. Yes, the pandas.
Awesome.
Shout out to the pandas.
Yes. Awesome.
Love that school. Love the community there.
You're on this wild ride right now.
Yes.
So transitions all over the place.
Yes.
And book release today?
Today is the book release. It's been a long time coming. Writing a children's book is something that takes quite a long time. You get super excited when they say, oh, we accept it and we're going to publish it. And you're like, yay. And they're like, and it's going to be 2 years before it comes out. I mean, it is a long process. So I'm fairly certain my family is exhausted about hearing about the book, but it's super fun to have it now out in the world for everybody to see.
Yeah. Should we want to talk about the book a bit? Like what was the inspiration for it? Well, let's show the book.
What are you, Lou?
Awesome.
So cute.
Thank you.
So tell us about the inspiration.
So before I was an assistant principal, I've been in education for my whole career. And when I was, prior to being assistant principal, I was a school counselor. And I did that for many, many years and had an opportunity to work with different students who were struggling with all sorts of emotions, but also with identity issues. And were struggling to figure out where they fit in this world, whether that was with peers, whether that was with family, whether that was at school, just this pressure to be one thing or the other. And I worked with a lot of students through that, and they always stuck with me. And when I thought about writing, and I, like Kim said, had been writing for many years, freelance writing, and this idea for this book always stuck with me, of this animal that doesn't look like any other animal in the jungle, but everybody's demanding to know what he is, and how he goes through that emotional reaction to people wanting to put him in a box and a label, and what that feels like. And so my hope is that children, adults, parents, teachers, everybody can utilize it, because it's not preachy. That was my entire goal. I didn't want to create anything that was preachy or political, anything like that. I wanted to create something that kids and adults can see themselves in, because I think representation for any person is really important, that you feel like you're not alone.
Oh, love that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That representation is key, right? And it's not, in terms of diversity, right. We get hung up on a lot of the obvious, outwardly things.
Yes.
But yeah, without giving anything away with your awesome book, it does touch on different subjects of that in a way that's very personal, in the sense of taking away the outward stuff, making it more like seeing the utilitarian side of who we are in the way that we operate and work and grow in it.
And how somebody putting you in that box and trying to put a label on you, what that does internally to you, how you feel about yourself. Because when the book starts, the lead character, Lou, is loving himself and happy and feeling confident. And when you see what others do to that, where it starts to break that character down, I think that's very relatable to us as adults, as kids, whether it is peers that you feel like you have to keep up with, or social media, or any of that stuff. There's so many different ways that we relate to feeling like, what is our identity? And do I have to say I'm this? You guys talked about the hats. I heard you talking about the hats you wear. And imagine if we had to pick one, right? What would you pick? And I think it depends upon the minute, the hour, the day. Like, I am a mother too. I'm a wife too. I'm a counselor still in my heart. I'm an educator, but I'm also an artist and a writer. And so I think that when we start expecting people to be one way and one way only, where some damage happens.
Absolutely. Like I can speak for myself, that incidences from like a young age of the first time somebody made a racial comment or a comment about me being a girl, or how tall I was, or and those are, I mean, those do not go away.
Nope.
Like and we, develop our coping mechanisms to, well, personally, I make jokes about, I'm a very self-deprecating comedian, but I, as a way of moving through it, and they become somewhat a punchline as you kind of tell your story, but at the same time, it's like, I'm still talking about that same, it's the verbatim of what was said to me when I was 4 or when I was 8. And that you're right, that kind of scarring just doesn't go away.
Right. And I think part of it too is, someone can tell you 10 nice things and 1 insult. And what's the thing you're going to remember? You're going to remember the insult. Right. And you're going to remember it for years. You're going to tell a story when you're an adult to your children about somebody who said something to you because it's that powerful, or that said you didn't fit in somewhere.
Right.
And I think that this concept of fitting in is something our kids are really struggling with. For many reasons, just as we did when we were younger. But now I think the ante's been upped of how important it is for mental health to have those conversations of, well, fitting in doesn't mean the same.
Right.
Fitting in is inclusion. Fitting in is making sure everybody feels like there's a place for them at the table. Doesn't matter what your race, your ethnicity, your sexual preference. There is a place. You just have to find your table. You got to find your people. And so this is kind of that being proud of who you are. And if those aren't your people to be around and they're going to take you down and bring you down, then that's not your table.
Yeah. I like that analogy.
So
table.
Thanks. I just came up with
so
it.
Good.
Spontaneous analogies.
It's so good.
Thanks.
I had heard one, my book is poetry. So unlike, I love that all 3 of us have different genres of writing.
Yes.
And there's a poet that had said something that touches on the point of the 10 compliments and 1 insult.
Yeah.
In the analogy of shade, of the throwing shade. And she's like, as much as the slang is, she's like, think about that. If it's a hot day and there's this one pine tree that's giving you this there's a little bit of shade, right? But it's a gorgeous day, but you're all of a sudden really hot. You stand in that tiny little thing of shade and you feel it envelops you. You're just like, whew. She goes, now turn it negatively, right? She's like, the beautiful day is all the good things that people say about you. And then that tiny bit of shade is the thing that's going to take over. You're not going to appreciate the gorgeousness of the day. You're going to appreciate whatever the coolness of the shade brings you. And I was like, wow, that's like,
that's a great way to look at it.
It was a great way to look at it. I was like, it's this tiny little thing, and yet we feel relief from it. But then when you think of it in terms of like insulting somebody, it is the thing that just takes over. You just forget about everything else that's around. I'm like, oh.
And it doesn't change as adults.
It does not change as adults. So
if we don't start having these conversations when they're young, and let's be honest, like the conversation is for ourselves too. When I talk to students, I'm learning from them just as much as they're learning from me.
Yeah.
And there has to be this this ability for us to have these open conversations about identity without being scared of offending or uncomfortability.
Right. Yeah. That's key. Uncomfortability.
Yes, uncomfortability. You have to be comfortable in uncomfortable conversations.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Sorry, I'm totally just like, the illustrations are beautiful.
Oh, aren't they?
Let's go back to the book.
She's amazing. Justinia Sutherland, she's incredible. And she has a huge following for people following her art. And I honestly had nothing to do with the illustrator. So when you sell your book to the publisher or when they buy your book for the text part, the writing part, they pick the the illustrator.
Wow.
Now, I will say that they were wonderful about getting input from me and my ideas, and I had illustrator notes, but she took it and ran with it and nailed exactly how I imagined Lou to look like. So it was a great moment the first time I ever saw the illustrations, and I teared up and was like, "Oh my gosh, she captured Lou!"
Oh, I love that.
So, yes, she's really great. But thank you. It was important to me that it had a certain look that was just artistic. I wanted it to have an artistic look to it, and not so much a kitty cute children's book, even though I think it is kitty cute too,
right?
But I think that there's artistic beauty to it. So
it is beautiful.
I'm gonna shout her out.
Absolutely.
This will air after the fact, but you're having a like a book launch at a local bookstore in Omaha, the Bookworm, and we were just talking about so do you have is that like your favorite bookstore in Omaha, or do you have like other
hands
ones
down.
that you're like, oh, I gotta go to that one
No,
too?
hands down.
Yeah.
So the Bookworm is amazing. So back in the day, when I was freelance writing, I was writing for the Omaha World Herald's parenting site, Mamaha. And I was the sassy housewife. And so I was a vice columnist for parents. But I also was writing, regular columns and posts for Mamaha, and came up with the idea to do a children's night once a month that was book reading, and we would invite a local celebrity or a local person that people knew to be the reader, the guest reader, and we would do milk and cookies, and the kids would come in their pajamas, and we did it at the Bookworm. And so I got to meet Beth Black and her husband, the owners of the Bookworm, and form a relationship with them. And they've just been unbelievably supportive of my career. They're always asking me what I'm writing and working on. So that was a fun day when I got to run into the Bookworm and be like, I have a book published and I'm doing my, will you have me? Will you please let me do my book launch here? And they graciously said yes. And so I'm thrilled. It's a kind of coming full circle, because it's one of the places where I started my writing here in Omaha, and to now 15 years later, 12 years later, something around there. I'm old. I can't keep track. So a long time ago to come full circle is really nice. And I did have a nightmare though that nobody showed up. And it's me reading the book to myself. That, what I mean? Just sitting there well, okay, here we go. It's like making my kids sit in front of me on the floor. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Oh, no, yeah. I think that was my fear of book signings.
Yes.
No one's going to come and want me to sign it.
Yes.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, there's a bit of anxiety. You're all excited and you have this idea in your head and they're like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Hopefully people do come, and I just want people to enjoy it. So
it's lovely.
Thank you.
Such a good book.
So
so I'm curious about your Italian family. So Omaha has this huge Italian community, and I'm just and a part of it in the Little Italy area is part of the Carlentini. People came from Carlentini. I'm just curious, are you from that Italian family, or what Italian family?
We're from the north.
Island. Okay.
And so I was born and raised on Long Island, New York. Okay. And so my great grandmother was from Italy. My grandmother lived with us my whole life. So she had the apartment above us in my house. So it was my mom, my dad, my brother, and I, and my little Italian grandmother. So you asked what it's like. It is, I never snuck out of the house. I never got away with anything because I have two mothers living in the house at all times. And one of them, not working and available at all times because she at that point was mostly retired. And she worked when I was super young, but as I got older, she had retired. And so it was a lot of amazing food, so much noise, so many people talking. We would get together our whole big family would get together once a month, and we would call them family meetings, but we didn't meet about anything. Everybody just talked at the same time, very loudly. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful way to grow up. Like, I just had such an awesome childhood, surrounded by cousins and fun and lots of aunts that want to squeeze you and being fed constantly. Like, I can't believe that I wasn't obese at numerous times in my childhood, because the amount of carbs I ate on a daily basis was obscene. But it's fun. And, you know, if a couple of days go by and I haven't called, I know, like, I got a call. Like, I don't want to tick off anybody there. And I'm definitely not, you know, an Italian mother, but they're great. They're just overbearing, sometimes in the most wonderful way.
How'd you end up in Omaha then?
Oh, well, that's a funny story. So my husband and I were engaged, and we were supposed to move to Romania. And so he was in, I know, right? What everybody does after Romania they get Omaha. Married. Who doesn't want to move to Romania when they get married? He was working a construction project. He's a construction manager, project manager at the time, for a company. We were in DC. And so we had this opportunity to move to Romania. And his family is from the Midwest. He grew up in Philly. I grew up in New York, but his family, so his parents were from the Midwest. His sister actually had moved here for a job. Well, I went to visit him in Romania, and it was one of those situations of, this is way too far. This is too far from everyone we love. This isn't the most ideal job situation. He'd be working 6 days a week, and we wouldn't get to tour the way we thought we would see Europe and things like that. So in a bar in Romania, we were like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay in DC? Are we going to move to New York? Or are we going to try the Midwest, because his parents had moved here? I had visited Omaha for 20 minutes one time. And so we're like, let's do it. Let's take a risk and move to Omaha. So we did. And that was 16 years ago, and just fell in love with the city. It's easy living. Really nice people. But I do have a quick funny story about that. So, you know, I'm a New Yorker. My husband's from Philly. Those two cities are not known necessarily for their outgoing, embracing, kind, you know, necessarily people, even though they are, but they're maybe not outwardly. And so the first day, I want to say it was here, we were walking through Target, and we must have had 4, 5 people who work at Target keep asking us, do you need any help? And do you need anything, you know, just doing their jobs, walking around. And he and I were like, what is going on? Why is everybody so nice to us? Like, what is this place? And we went to a wedding a week later back in Philly, and we're checking out of the parking. And the woman checking us out was like, yeah, what do you want? And we're like, okay. Yes. We see the difference here. Yes. So it was definitely eye-opening to move to the Midwest and have everybody just be so nice all the time. Yeah. So many casseroles.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of casseroles.
Many casseroles.
Right? So many. Hot dishes, salads that aren't salads.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. I've never put Jell-O in a salad.
The fluff salad thing. I'm from Toronto, so like
okay,
when
you're
I'm
with
like,
me.
I was like, what is
the fluff?
What is that?
On my dad's side, that was like, it's not Swedish, but I know his family's all Swedish, and that was like,
is that a common
Jell-O and
I don't think
Jell-O whipped cream and like fruit,
pretzels, fruit.
It was marshmallow fluff with little marshmallows and then canned fruit.
Wow.
And that was
not
like,
even fresh fruit.
No, it was canned fruit, and that was
it's
like
and
our
put
dessert.
it with the salads or whatever, right? Like it's like a side.
That's how you could check the healthy box.
What?
Like there's canned fruit in it.
There's a Jell-O.
There's a pear in there.
Yes.
It's a piece of pear. Like that little square pear from
right, little square pear and like the smushed cherry.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I never thought about
Midwestern.
Yes.
It is very Midwestern. Are there any places here that you like to eat? I mean,
my gosh, we're huge foodies.
Yeah, let's
share.
Share.
Okay, I would say so for a like fancy special occasion, I'm a big au courant fan.
Oh,
Love au courant in Benson. I don't think we've ever had a bad meal there.
Like, you do like the tasting menu?
We have not. Okay. Only because when I look at the tasting menu, there's always like one thing that I don't like. And I'm like, oh, should I do it and just risk it? But no, but we make our own tasting menu and we share all of that stuff. And then if I'm like down home, like just want like that greasy burger or anything like that. I mean, I love a Stella's. I love a Dinker's. I mean, just the greasier, the better. A good cheeseburger. But there's so many fun food things happening now. Like I think that Omaha has become a real mecca for that.
Yeah,
it's been
like
really
food-centric
cool
events now.
Yes, it's really. But yeah, if somebody, I immediately joined Omaha Food Lovers on Facebook because I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. Everybody coming up with these new ideas to places to go. So that's been really fun to see what gets brought up a lot and go. I remember Salted Edge got brought up a lot. And so we went out, and that's a little far, but it's a great venue too, a great place to eat. And just having those experiences. So yeah, if someone tells me try it, I'm going to try it.
Nice.
But then I love classics like Flavors Indian restaurant downtown.
Oh, it's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah, that's just like our favorite Indian. Fun if you want something different to go to like Taco Company and have the puff tacos.
That's cute inside there too.
That is cute and fun. You can sit on a swing.
Yeah.
They have a great outside patio to eat on.
Yeah.
So
patios are
and
great.
You can't beat like coneflower for ice cream or Eat Creamery and those. So yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Many.
Yeah, there are so many.
Yeah, it depends on the mood.
Yeah.
We love. Okay, so like recently, like we had our son. He had his 8th grade graduation, and so we're like, "What do you want for celebration meal?" And he's like in his suit and everything. And he's like, "Virtuoso pizza."
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's
pizza.
a great
Okay,
one.
so we'll just gotta be careful here.
Yeah.
Like, don't you got to do suit this year actually for speech. And tailored and everything. Looks amazing.
Oh my gosh!
And then he's already grown 2 inches. Like the pants already.
Oh
fit.
my
I'm like,
gosh!
Yes.
So anyway, so Virtuoso. My daughter is like a chicken nugget fan. Like wherever we go, it has to have chicken nuggets. So she's like a connoisseur, and she is Blatt beer. And
that's her. I like their
place. And it's great for everybody has great food then.
Yes.
I saw that they have a vegan burger. I haven't ever eaten.
They do. It's good. It's like is it quinoa, red quinoa?
Yeah.
Kind of it's not bad.
So I'm vegan and gluten free. So a lot of the choices that but they're this is a great city to have those kind of restrictions. There's a lot of places that
Wilson and Washburn has a beet burger and I don't like beets. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Good. See, my burger. I love fizzies. I'm honestly.
You love where? I missed
fizzies.
Oh, I've never been there.
Oh, go.
Okay.
It's
they have
awesome.
the fun cocktail milkshakes.
Yes. Amazing,
stuff, right?
And they have coneflower. They use coneflower ice cream. Like, and they got it's a dairy free, like the vegan situation for like their White Russian. You sit at the table. At the bar you just order, but around the restaurant it's like they've got the phone order.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's such a cool.
And it's adult
place.
only, right?
Yep, adult only. Their brunches are fabulous.
Okay, that's good to know.
But yeah, my boyfriend and I had our first date there, and we go there often. So like it's we can eat, drink, there's always really, really good music. The jukebox to me when I go out too, that means a lot. Like I'll be like, oh, they've got this, like that's important. But vegetable in Benson, amazing. When even before they had their brick and mortar,
we haven't tried them yet.
They're amazing.
We love Modern Love.
Yes,
yeah. I mean that's a classic, right? I think that was one of the earlier ones that really became popular in Omaha.
Well, there was Daisy Mae's on 13th Street,
but that closed.
It did close, yes. And I honestly,
wasn't that the other one?
Yes, McFoster's was the other. So those when they closed, I know when they closed, I was like, please.
But now they're adding so many to menus. It's so great because we have family. I have a niece who's celiac. I have another niece who is dairy and gluten free. And back when my niece, who's now 14, when she was diagnosed with celiac at 2 or 3, I want to say, the options were so much more limited. Yeah. And so now it's great. Like almost every restaurant, there's something. You can find something, and you're not just limited to salads.
And they keep it separate.
And they keep it separate because same for her. Yeah, she can't have she has to have a designated fryer sometimes. Yep. And so it's great to see, kind of going back to what we were talking about full circle here of recognizing that people have different needs and finally not putting everybody into one box of this is what all restaurants should look like. Like, no, we've got to meet these allergy needs and just these preferences.
Right. Right.
So
yeah, you're right. Full circle. The whole idea of, we were talking to Brent Rasmussen, kind of the idea of like what does diversity really mean? Right. Yeah. When we teach it and we speak about it, it's very typical topics, right? Instead of thinking the broader spectrum of, then what does it look like for accessibility for all of those, different needs and what, how do we make that fit? And you're right. I think Omaha does a really great job in flexing. Yeah. And they're putting effort. There's a lot of effort being put forth towards the stretching of who they are and kind of pushing against the boundaries or the whatever, walls had been set for them. But yes, I do believe that the restaurant, like you can see it culturally everywhere. Yeah. Love that. Love that. Way to bring it back. That's so good.
Back here. Wow. I didn't even plan that.
What about like activity wise around town?
So my husband and I met playing bocce ball.
Awesome.
Him and his friends had started a bocce ball league in DC, and he was the cute boy checking us in for bocce. And I had sworn to my friends before, because you would play the game and then everybody would go to this bar afterwards. And I said, I am not going to that bar afterwards. Like, I'm just playing this game. And then I met him and I'm like, I'm going to the bar afterwards. And so we've been together ever since. But then when we moved here, we started a bocce league.
Awesome.
And so that ran for about 5 years down at Turner Park called Big O Bocce. Yeah. Big O Bocce. And so that is something that we've always loved to do. And we eventually sold the league and somebody else took it over for a while. But for activities at this point, so that was back in the day when I was, it was about us and our kids were little and we could just kind of treat them like luggage and take them places, but now the roles have reversed and our entire lives revolve around their activities and we have become, the taxi drivers. Mm-hmm. And so, it is, my daughter is track and cross country. My son is baseball and basketball. And just, you find that switch happens where you're suddenly enjoying seeing them explore their activities. Yeah. And that becomes your activity, is just cheering them on, watching. And so we do a lot of family games, a lot of game nights, a lot of I think we really enjoy being together. But they're also at an age now where their friends are coming first and they're, so they're starting to have their own activities. And my husband and I look at each other like, oh, okay, well, now we get to they're all out with their friends. What are we doing here? Now, wow, this is great. So just kind of exploring that now too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you think, so sorry, I didn't
know. It's just that the ebbs and flows of life of, everything revolves around them, and slowly but surely you let go a little bit and you find yourself again and you figure out the activities you like at this point in your life. But we are huge foodies. That is a great activity for me. Like if there's an opportunity to go out to eat or try a new restaurant, we all love it. The four of us love it.
Yeah.
So they're adventurous eaters.
Yes.
I'm waiting for my kids
not to say they don't love a good chicken fingers and fries. My son definitely does, but they will always be willing if we say we're going to try a new place. Okay.
It's fun. I can speak to the young adult children because mine are in their 20s now.
Okay.
That's really bizarre to say out loud, but they, my son in particular has been a pretty picky eater throughout his life. He's still kind of that keep things separate, kid. But I tell you what, watching them, there's those things that I mean, I can look back and think of like, wow, I didn't like olives or whatever when I was little, but I will eat an entire jar of olives now, right? So it's kind of like, when did that happen? When did you, stop being so picky? And for Mother's Day, my boyfriend and my kids went out. We went and had sushi, and he ate really good sashimi. He had really like raw thing, and I watched with like my mouth agape, like, how? Okay, I guess this is like, I guess you're there, Right. But it is funny to go from chicken fingers, mac and cheese, rice, chicken, broccoli, whatever, like very. Yes. Yeah. Just the few things that you like to eat to like huge broad spectrum, and he's cooking and he's sending me pictures of the food he's making.
Awesome.
It's just like, whoa, it is just a surreal moment.
Yeah. I think sushi is the converter. Like when you could get your kids to try sushi.
Really good sushi.
Because it's hard, right? It looks weird. And you're like, okay, that's raw fish and you want me to eat raw fish. And so I remember that moment when I was like, oh my gosh, he just ate a roll. Like he just, ate that and try that. And now they ask for it. And my daughter especially really loves sushi. Yeah. And it's funny. So I'm currently going through breast cancer treatment, and I'm getting ready to start chemo. And I had this information session about, what to expect during chemo and what not to expect. And the most heartbreaking thing for me was that you can't have sushi. And I was like, wait, what? You can't what?
All the other things.
All the other things. I was like, I could deal with those, but what? I can't have sushi, or I can't have like rare red meats, which are like, I love a good rare steak. Sorry, you're vegan. I know that's probably heartbreaking to hear, but like,
it's not by choice. It's a medical thing. So yes, I often dream about.
I know, and here I am talking all about cheeseburgers.
Oh, I love it. This is so great. I will talk for hours. Oh, sorry. I will talk for hours about food. Please.
Oh my gosh,
it's amazing.
Hilarious. Yeah, no, me too. That's why I'm like, oh man, are you serious?
See, now you're challenging me to figure out a way to make it taste like, make you a casserole. That's tastes like sushi, but doesn't have anything in it. Just a bunch of kelp, some kelp and whatnot.
No, please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, some kind of fluff salad. Oh,
fluff salad and sushi.
Yeah,
so gross.
Any suggestions? We're welcome.
Yeah.
Are welcome.
So are you gonna have like a last hurrah sushi dinner before?
It's funny. I thought about that. I know my in-laws are going to make rare flank steak for Memorial Day. And then no, because we have a tradition where our last meal before, so I've had to have a few surgeries in this journey. And my husband makes really, really good like Philly style cheesesteaks. He got one of those man griddles. Like the Blackstone man griddles. And so, and especially like if my kids have sleepovers, he's like, you want me to make breakfast on the griddle? Like, yep, let's make breakfast on the griddle. But so the tradition is cheesesteaks before any big like medical thing, which is probably hands down the worst thing you could do for your body. Like before going to
it's all right. You're just waking up all of this stuff.
Yes, I'm just going to shove it full of carbs and all of this deliciousness and cheese and dairy, but man, it's good.
That's good.
So maybe sushi the day before
that.
For lunch.
For lunch.
Day. You have to like roll me into chemo the next day.
Like, just a little bit of Philly cheesesteak.
Yep. It's like a hug inside.
Yeah, it is. That's such a good way to put it. Cheesesteak, the internal hug.
Yes.
But I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah.
We've been all over the place.
We have been all over, which is I kind of love. I love the natural,
the organic.
Yes, it's awesome. So today is the lunch.
Today is the lunch.
So you have like to the bookworm today?
Nope. The bookworm is on Saturday. And so today is just obnoxious social media posts that people are probably
have you popped into stores yet just to see like if it's on the shelf yet?
I haven't. That's a great idea. That's
first
so
time you see your
fun.
Yes. Gotta go do it.
Okay, good call.
So where is it available?
It is available at the Bookworm on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, through Beaming Books, which is the publisher, anywhere books are sold.
Awesome.
So I hope that everybody enjoys it in the way that I enjoyed writing it, and going through the experiences that led to writing it.
Any future books in the works?
Yeah. So, couple things. I have a middle grade novel that's out on submission right now with my agent. Shout out to Catherine Green. And so then, but I also have another picture book that I just submitted as well. And that one is called The Perfect Fit.
Oh.
And kind of continuing some conversations about not so much identity for this one, but more having the conversation about letting our kids make up their own paths in life, and as adults and parents, how we want to tell them how to do things sometimes, myself included, totally based off experience, and having to kind of pull that back and let them explore and have their own reasons of why they're doing things.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So good. Well, do you want to ask the final question?
So we asked the same question.
Okay.
To all of our guests.
Oh, I love it.
And then where do you find inspiration in Omaha?
In Omaha. Oh, wow. Places I explore with my family, seeing it through their eyes, having, whether that is Jean Leahy Mall, when it first, the remodel first happened, and seeing my son play on that playground for the first time was so cool. To going and listening to music on Jazz on the Green, to going to, we got a season pass this year to the community playhouse, and that was phenomenal. It was, the plays that they put on there were unreal, and I enjoyed every single one of them. So I'd say, inspiration from all of the cultural aspects of Omaha, and there's so many.
That's awesome. I was thinking, if I had to answer the question, part of it would be going to see live theater and seeing what local people are able to create, and that we have like such a talented pool of creatives, and just like, wow, you guys did all this from like an idea.
Yes. I just saw chicken and biscuits at the community playhouse, and I fangirled hard after the one of the leads was outside greeting people, and I like walked up to her like some super freak and was like, I will see anything you're in. You are so great. I just love you. And she's like, thank you. And my husband's like, okay, all right, let's pull it back about. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to like let people know, like, that was awesome, and you took me to this place for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That was so fun, and I'm going through some peaks and valleys right now. So to go somewhere where I laugh for 3 hours is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely draw inspiration from that experience.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes,
Really,
thanks
thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it. This has been great.
Yes.
Yes. And we'll have you back on when the next one comes.
Thank you. I would love that. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast. We want to thank our guest, Hurrdat Media, all of you for your support, and the Omaha community at large.
So from D and I, keep on exploring.